What's up, y'all? Look, so I've noticed that my videos, my life, everything just feels a lot better when I flow through it, right? It was a time when I was creating YouTube videos and I was like scripting the hell out of everything. I'm watching every single video online trying to figure out how to, grow my audience. And now I'm at a place where I just don't even really care. You know what I mean? Like whoever decides to joins. Whoever gets the message will get the message, and I believe it'll be for exactly who it's supposed to be for. But I'm just gonna come on here and share whatever drops into my spirit and what I feel moved to share. And it may be stocks one day, it may be some wisdom the next day, it may be some sort of artistry the next, it may be whatever is on my mind. I'm going to share. Like we have this society that often tries to like pigeonhole us, and some people say that it's in the name of like focus. It's in the name of like keeping your eye on on one thing. But what I actually think it is a deterrence from one's true self, right? Because once you understand yourself, you do understand that there is like this wave like pattern that we move in. We are not this singular linear type of person. Like that's not how we are made up. Now, I'm not saying that there can't be small things or singular things that you focus on a consistent basis for a period of time, but a part of why this world feels so mundane and dead is because so many people are operating on a system that is not divine, right? And that's really what I want to talk about, right? This is really what's kind of dropped into me, and it's a lot of irony in this video too, right? Because if anybody knows me, right, Marcel Benson, you know that I own a watch company, but I'm going to talk about the different times that we can be on, right? And how the time that we're usually on is actually not real. It's actually not, something that keeps us in this flow state that I was referring to, right? So, in this life, it's like we got a time that we got to wake up. We got a time that we got to, like be places, right? We have, a time that things take place. We have a time that something has to be completed by, a deadline. They call it a deadline. That's an even deeper topic. But we got deadlines in which we have to like rush to make sure that we get something done by. And things don't always work like that, right? Now we figured out a way. Man has figured out a way to like quantify the changes that takes place in nature to to assign like a time to it. But in reality, it's just changes. It's just the nature of, our earth, our planet, whatever. And it's the same with us. We have a nature and we go through changes and we go through seasons. And oftentimes that timing doesn't align with nature, right? We have so many side effects that we don't even realize, right? It's just follow me, right? I know this video may be long. I don't know. We're just gonna see where it goes, but follow me. We have so many different things that we are concerned about time with, that when it comes to matters of the heart, which is the real timer, right? The beat, it explains exactly where you are by its tempo. It gives you information about what's real and what's not real. It gives you information about what's real and what's not real for you. It gives you information about like if you need to, do a little more or do a little less. It gives you information about if there's danger, right? It has pretty much all the intelligence, that one needs, including, like I said, timing. But we get on like man's timing, right, which is a circular 12-hour type of deal, and that kind of throws us off and makes us feel like we can control time, and also we can control the outcomes that happen within a given time, right? So everything being time centered, makes us think that we have control over when something changes, right? So I'm speaking to anybody who's going through a moment in time, right? Or just they're just changing, because that's really all it is. To understand that, like, you can't decide when that journey is over. This is so important to understand, because this is the main thing that gets us back into doing, whatever we were doing, that we were trying to journey away from, right? You cannot control how long it's going to take for you to correct something. You can't control how long it's going to take for the world to come back around to you and the changes that you're making and the changes that are happening within the world. You can't control that timeline. So what happens is we can be aligned, right? We could be heading in the right direction. We could be halfway to where we're ultimately trying to be, which is actually not a place, but it's a becoming. It's a who thing. So you go to a place where you've become, right? And we could be halfway there and decide that it's taking too long. You could be with the right person in a relationship and decide that things have been taking too long to go your way. They've been taking too long for you to correct. Right? If you trade, if you do anything that requires a journey, you have to get off of man-made time, because it's going to drive you crazy, and it's ultimately going to lead to quitting or burnout, crash out, whatever you want to call it. Right? The only timing that allows you to just be and be present and okay and content with whatever the circumstances is divine timing. Right? It's like you're locked into something that your heart knows, and you're allowing it to unfold in the way that it does. Now, I'm gonna show you what happens when we rush things, right? We have very severe consequences. If you think about anything that's rushed, the consequence of that is very bad. Let's y'all be eating chicken out the wazoo. So let's talk about chicken, right? There's chicken that supplies pretty much every fast food place in the country, which is thousands. We're talking about probably in the hundreds of millions of chickens are being consumed on a consistent basis. Where are they coming from? How? What life can move that quickly and go through the stages of development that quickly? It ain't none, right? So what happens is these things are raised very quickly to match the demand from this chicken. That's a whole nother video, right? I could make a whole chicken video, but these things are matching. They're trying to match the demand, right? So they're taking these chickens through life way quicker, and what it's creating is severe health issues for the consumer, because like that chicken, went through so many different things. They were terrorized, they were scared, they were afraid. They grew up way too fast, so they skipped a lot of like steps that needed to take place for them to feel comfortable and solid and blessed or whatever. And then you, the consumer, is now getting that in a very processed manner, which is even worse than the raising process. And now that's in your body, it's foreign to your body, and it's starting to cause all these deficiencies, right? Because we're trying to meet a deadline, timing, right? This whole world is built around timing, deadlines, right? Got to be here at this time, got to be here at this time, right? Slow down. Slow down. If God was talking to you, that's what he would say. He would just say, pump the brakes for a quick second and just be. Be for a second so you can understand what's right for you and get, an idea of which direction to go, and then start to feel your way through the process, right? We weren't given feelings for no reason. It's direction. It's our internal compass, right? I'm not talking about fleeting feelings. I'm talking about like those that live within us, those that are divine, those that are connected to a desire that we have. All right. Another example, right? If you are, you know, I don't know, driving somewhere, right? You're going much faster. You get to that place and then you realize that you missed so many different things that you would have caught if you were walking, right? Let me give you a better example, right? This might take you back to your childhood. I know it is for me. Like we used to go to church when we were younger, and my mom would she would put some food on like slow cook. She'd put it in the what is that joint called again? I mean, people call it a slow cooker, but it's called something. It's like a damn, I can't think of the name of it. Crock pot. The crock pot. She would put some food in the crock pot, and we'd be gone all day, 8 hours, and then we come back, and it would be perfect. Whatever we were eating, you know what I mean? Like whatever pot roast, whatever we were eating, it would be perfect, easy to bite, easy to chew through. It was nourishing, all of that stuff, perfect. But then I think about times when I was growing up and I was trying to hurry up and make a meal before I went somewhere, and I'm like, damn, it just don't never come out like my mom or my grandma, right? Because I was rushing. I had a time, right? So let's start to look at things in a perspective of like authenticity, realness, things that that feel true, and let's be okay with the fact that we will eventually get to that thing and not rush it, and just start to see how you feel, right? Because here's the thing, the reason that we're rushing in the first place is because we're ultimately just trying to get to a feeling, right? So if we're ultimately trying to get to a feeling, this is the reason that it's rush, 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 get this done, get this done, get this done, accomplish this, success, success, success. What's the point of the point of success is so that you can feel good, right? In you got man's timing, you got divine timing. In man's timing, you got to keep doing that. You got to keep repeating that. You got to keep on and on and on, meeting deadlines, rushing yourself, throwing yourself off balance, having you just completely confused about life and what it is that you want, or even what's going on, and you find yourself on autopilot. You find yourself just doing a bunch of things and not really knowing why there's this like hollowness inside of yourself, right? You ever just be sitting in the house and like have you ever thought to yourself just like, if you've ever had a what is the point moment, if you've ever thought about that, if you ever in your life been like, what is the point? What am I doing all this for? That means that you could be in the thick of man's timing. Divine timing, it may be what you would call a little slow, but it's always right on time. It's always what you need. It's always right. It's always right. And we fight it so much, and we always wind up coming back to divine timing. Always. So the way that we make life more enjoyable is we start to get on that before we're forced to. Because at some point you will be brought to reality, right? We think that man's timing is reality. Reality is really divine timing. At some point you will be brought back to that. At some point you won't have any choice but to trust. At some point you won't have any choice but to wait and sit, right? And hope and have faith, believe, pray. At some point that's all you're going to have. So why not get familiar with that now? Why not make that the frequency that you live on now, so that you never feel rushed, you never feel on autopilot, you never feel what's the point? You always feel present, grateful, appreciative for this life that we all get to experience together at this moment. All right, so that's what's on my heart today. Like I said, every day it's going to be something different because that's just how life is. Obviously you guys know that I teach trading and stocks and stuff like that. I have a community of people where we trade every morning to improve our financial lives. But we are all human at the end of the day, and that's what I want to keep this channel. So yeah, sometimes it'll be some tangible things that we can learn, because we do need to understand how to to navigate the skill sets that we choose to embark upon. But sometimes it's just going to be, like me talking like this. And if you need that balance, if you need that combination, hit the subscribe button, share this, leave a comment if this moved you in any way, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.